One of the strongest ideals of this nation is that people have an ability to freely express themselves.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has come under a lot of fire recently for various comments she made that some have called anti-Semitic. But she also said something that largely slipped under the radar in a letter that she wrote to USA Powerlifting, criticizing them of their decision to not allow a trans woman to participate in a Minnesota event, saying that the move was unscientific and based on a myth that trans women have a direct competitive advantage in powerlifting. But is that really true? First, let's nail down the terminology. A transgender woman is someone who is born biologically male, who later transitioned to being a woman. Since USA Powerlifting denied a trans woman the ability to compete, we asked, what does the scientific community actually say about trans women participating in competitive sports? Well, the International Olympic Committee says that trans women are allowed to compete in Olympic events after they meet certain criteria, like demonstrated levels of testosterone below 10 nanomoles per liter, which is a way to measure testosterone levels, for at least 12 months. Those levels need to remain below that limit when they're competing, and a person cannot change their gender identity for at least 4 years. These testosterone requirements are seen as necessary to even the playing field because men have much higher levels of testosterone, which is a hormone that helps build muscle mass, than women do. Lowering testosterone levels means that trans women will experience a reduction in muscle mass. But even so, there are certain physical features you can't change with hormone therapy, like frame size and arm span, factors that some believe still give trans women an advantage in sports. So to try and understand this better, we spoke with Joanna Harper, a medical physicist in Portland, Oregon. A trans athlete herself, Harper helped to advise the International Olympic Committee on how transgender individuals could more fairly compete in the Olympics.
It's certainly true that hormone therapy doesn't change everything. Even after hormone therapy, on average, transgender women are going to be taller, bigger, and stronger than other women. But transgender women are also going to have disadvantages. We have substantially reduced muscle mass, substantially reduced aerobic capacity, but our frames stay the same size. So in a simplified sense, you can think of it as a big car with a small engine competing against a small car with a small engine. That's a disadvantage in terms of quickness and endurance. But for instance, in martial arts, thicker, heavier bones add protection. So, that can be seen as an advantage in martial arts.
So there is research that suggests that after trans women go through hormone therapy, their performance declines. In research Harper conducted, trans women who were long-distance runners generally ran slower after they transitioned and were as competitive in women's races as they were in men's. However, a 2004 study found that even though trans women lost muscle mass after hormone therapy, it still remained significantly greater on average than muscle mass of biological females. There are also factors apart from testosterone that affect performance. Biological features such as lung capacity and heart size give males an advantage in physical competitions. And USA Powerlifting raised the issue of bone density. Several studies found that bone mineral density remained the same or even increased after hormone therapy, whereas other studies found that there were signs of weakened bone density and even osteoporosis in some trans women. As far as powerlifting goes, the question is whether hormone therapy evens the playing field enough for trans women to compete equally. The sport is divided into weight classes, which helps to some extent, but where issues could arise is in the top to unlimited weight classes. So no, it's not a myth that trans women have a direct competitive advantage in the sport. But it is fair to say that more research needs to be done on trans participation in power sports. And as studies continue to develop, information will continue to be collected on how each sport is affected differently. And this could potentially lead to different standards being instituted based on the sport.
The real question is, are trans women pound for pound stronger than other women? And we don't really have an answer to that question yet. It's one of these things that we would like to look at more closely. But yeah, trans women certainly prior to hormone therapy have all the male advantages. After hormone therapy, it gets a little more complex.
So as with any polarizing issue, always be sure to check your facts. If you want to learn more about Check Your Fact, follow us on Facebook and subscribe so you can stay up to date on our latest fact checks.